All right. Good morning. At least for me, it's morning. Wherever you are, hope you're having a good day. Here's where we left off. Last time, we have an Astraea upper half of the torso with the arms and the head. We have one leg, and we have one foot. I had said in the last stream that I might try to build the second leg off stream so that it would be ready for today and we could move on to something else. However, I did not have time to do that. Instead, I spent my free time yesterday evening. I got out my virtual panel scriber and I scribed lines all around the frame of the overlay here. So that was my fun creative task that I did yesterday evening. Just trying to make things look nicer for the stream. So today we are going to begin with the second leg. You know, one thing I've noticed with this leg, and we're gonna maybe compare when I build the second leg, this front bit of the ankle armor is very floppy. I'll show you here. It will not stay in place. And I don't know if that's a problem with the mold itself or, you know, if I trimmed something too much. It looks like it's snapped in there tight, but it is super floppy. So that's not great. Of course, you can tighten it up, no problem, with a little bit of work. But we'll compare when we build the second leg to see if that seems like it's a problem universally for all of the legs and ankles, or whether this is just my kit. So let me drop this leg here so it's kind of here for you to see, and there's a foot. And actually, I'll just move the foot out of the way. It's not that interesting. And yeah, we'll get started with the other leg. I did resort my runners back into alphabetical order after the last stream. They had been left in kind of a messed up state, so hopefully I'll be able to find everything fairly quickly, as long as I got the alphabetical order correct when I put them back in the box just a couple minutes ago. The little intro text that I put in the stream to replace the countdown timer, which I thought was kind of silly, like why wait till that hits 0 if I'm already ready to go? So I changed it to that scrolling text, and one of the things it says is sorting runners, which today was actually true. I was sitting here sorting through the runners, trying to get them back in order. I'm going to try to remember all the parts we needed. It's been 2 days, but I think I can mostly remember so that we don't have to come back to these runners too many times. I'm just gonna grab all of the inner frame parts for the leg right now off of this one. Let's see, we need this and this. Don't remember if we need this one or not. I'm gonna guess that we do, and just go ahead and cut it, since the matching one that went next to it here is already cut out. I'm going to assume that that means we're going to need that one, even though I don't remember. This runner is now completely done. I should just throw it on the floor, actually. Yeah, let's do that. That'll be the new process. Runner's done, throw it on the floor. It's a little surprising to me that it's Wednesday already. It seems like maybe it should only be Tuesday. I didn't get any building done. You know, I don't stream on Tuesdays typically, but sometimes I find some time in the evening to work on something. I did not get to do that yesterday. I was busy with some other projects around the house. Right on cue. This is weird because it's a Wednesday and this doesn't normally happen on Wednesdays. I'm hearing in my headphones somebody driving around my neighborhood somewhere nearby with a lawnmower mowing someone's yard. Typically in the past that's been a problem on Thursdays and Fridays, never on Wednesdays. Yeah, I just saw the lawnmower go by out the window. I think he was just, it's like one of those ride-on lawnmowers and he's driving from one person's yard to another. He must do multiple yards in the same neighborhood. So I don't think that he's actually mowing nearby. He was just passing by on his way to get to somebody else's yard. That's a nub, right? Yeah. It was molded in such a way that I wasn't totally sure that it wasn't part of that little tab there. Oh, that was terrible. Do better myself. There we go. All right. Someone commented on one of the YouTube streams from a couple days ago that, or asking if I have an Instagram, and I do, but I don't post there very often. And I replied to that person and said that yes, I do have an Instagram. Here's the link to it. It's GunplaMark over there, like it is on most social media everywhere. However, I don't post there very often, and that reminded me that maybe I should. So I'm going to try to remember. You know, it's, yeah, I don't feel like posting, I don't feel like it's necessarily useful to post, you know, just like photos of things like, you know, these completed snap builds and stuff like that, especially on a platform like Instagram. I feel like I want to post more like completed, you know, detailed and painted type projects there. And sadly, I haven't actually finished one of those recently, for a few reasons, but one is that I've just been kind of jumping from one thing to the next, probably a little more than I would like to. So yeah, I should finish a project so that I can post it on Instagram. Good morning, Aries. Hope you're having a good day. I forgot to put that little sliding inner frame bit in place, so now it's good. And now we will put these together. today for me, I hope becomes a good day. You don't know anybody who uses Instagram? Yeah, it's hard to know, right? There's so many different social media platforms, and like which one's good and which one's, yeah, I don't know. But if I'm taking photos of my builds, I might as well just post them everywhere if I remember to do so. Let's see. I think we're about to need some actual colored armor parts here, so I should get those. Yeah, so today for me, my soccer team, I'll call it soccer, not football, because American viewers get confused, right? My soccer team is Orlando City, and they're in the US Open Cup tournament and playing a game at home this evening in Orlando in the quarterfinals of that tournament. So if they win it, then there's only 2 more games left to go to potentially win the first trophy in team history, because they haven't been around, at least not in Major League Soccer, the top league here in America, for that long. I think it's their 7th year. So I am going to that game tonight, hopefully to see them win against Nashville, although Nashville is a tough team, so it's going to be an interesting, hard game probably. But knockout soccer games are fun because, you know, they go to extra time and then penalty shootouts if they end up tied, and that always adds a bit of extra excitement for sure. So I'm excited to go, but also a bit nervous because I really hope that they win. And they haven't been playing super well in their last few games, so yeah, that makes me a little concerned. But we'll see what happens. All right, I've looked ahead. I have not looked ahead in the instructions. I'm just guessing at parts that we're gonna need. Trying to remember from 2 days ago when we built the other leg. I think that might be it. Oh no, wait, definitely these 2 here. And this knee, yeah. Nashville was the team that they're playing tonight, was the team that knocked them out of the MLS Cup playoffs last winter, like November. So there is a bit of payback involved as well in this evening's match. That sounds interesting. I've never built any of those like armored mecha girl type kits. But I did, somebody contacted me from a company a couple months ago asking if I'd be interested in them sending me to build a new kit that was coming out that's in that style. I won't say any more about it yet, but I told them I'd certainly be willing to build it and show it off. So that might be coming my way in the next couple months or so, and if so, we'll build it on stream. And it will be my first experience building. I was gonna say a non-Gundam, non-Gunpla kit, but that's not necessarily true. I've built some other mecha kits that are not Gunpla, but not many. We have to organize this pile of nubs because that's important, right? There we go. Yeah, I think I first connected with you on Twitter back when I was adding the 30-minute mission kits to the Gunpla Gallery website, and then I built that one. I've not built any more of them, but that was a fun build, and I probably like way overdid it, right? I spent like a ton of time doing some scribing and detailing and painting on that thing, tons of masking, I remember. So I turned something that should have been a quick little simple fun build into, it was still fun, but it took a whole lot longer than I had originally planned. So yeah, it was fun. I should look into some of the newer ones. I know that they've released a few different base designs for the 30-minute mission mechs lately, but I haven't paid that much attention to exactly what they are and what they look like. All right, so I think we decided last time that this, even though it looks like it's going to be potentially tricky to disassemble later, I think it's okay to go ahead and put this part into this cavity, because I can always drill a hole from the backside to get it out if I need to. So one of the new 30-minute mission kits looks like a Rickdom. That sounds awesome, actually. I should try to find that one. You know what? I just noticed there's a cutout on the back of this, on the part that goes on the back of the knee. And on this other leg, I put it on upside down. So let's fix that real quick. Because that way when the knee bends, it's got more clearance for this to fit into there. So yeah. All right, fixed. Moving on. And I think just like we did with the other one, I'm gonna cut out the parts for these green GN condenser areas that would go on the one version, the Type F2 version of this. But we're not going to put them in because I liked the Type F leg better, this one with the gray inner frame sort of extension part coming out there. But yeah, we'll go ahead and cut these out just so that they're off the runners, because then when I get to the end of the build, I can remember that they were an optional part that went somewhere on the kit. Revernova. I just tried to look that up on the Gunpla Gallery kit catalog and realized it's not there. So maybe something's wrong with my script that automatically pulls that catalog. We'll find it somewhere else. Oh, I can't show I can't show a non-Gunpla Gallery website apparently on the way I've got my OBS set up. So but yeah, it does look a bit like that. I agree. Huh. I like its giant weapon. That's pretty nice. All right, so after the stream is over, note to myself to go figure out why the newest 30-minute missions kits are not on Gunpla Gallery. I'll see if I can look into that real quick and maybe fix it. Trying to remember what I did. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what I did to pull those kits into the catalog. For all of the Gunpla kits, I pull them from the Gunpla Wiki, which is, you know, a community-built, pretty good source that usually stays pretty up to date with new kit releases and stuff. So I just pull from there, and then when somebody adds something there or changes some details, it automatically updates, which is nice because, you know, I'm lazy and I don't want to have to go in and put all those things in manually. So if I can avoid it, if I can avoid manual entry of kits and stuff, I do. So when I added those 30-minute mission ones, I don't remember what I did, but there is some sort of automated process, and maybe wherever it's looking doesn't have the latest kits yet, or maybe there's just a problem with it and it's not pulling correctly. So I'll go take a look at that. Usually those kinds of things are a quick, easy fix, fingers crossed, once I realize that they're happening. See, things like this kind of bother me about this, you know, this is based on the old Master Grade Exia, the original one, but like a modern Master Grade would not have this giant gap in the backside of the inner frame that just gets covered like this with the outer armor. Like they would have something with detail there instead. It seems like this inner frame has a lot of weird little gaps and things in it, as compared to more modern Master Grades for sure. We need a 2.0 Exia, Bandai. Get working on that, please. Alright, that went together pretty quick. I left the holographic part out of the front of the leg on purpose, because I will eventually disassemble this and paint it. And I'll wait to put those parts in when I do the final assembly. Let's see, we need the part for the outside of the leg, which is, I guess, on the other V-runner. Yeah, there it is. It'll be interesting to see, since this is a P-Bandai kit, how many parts we end up with left over on the runners after we're done. it's looking like it's going to be kind of medium-sized amount, like not nearly as many as some of the P-Bandai kits I've built, but a fairly decent number I think will be left over. I always throw those parts in a spare parts bin, and then sometimes I'll use 1 or 2 of them, but that pile of spare parts for me is getting much larger. It's getting larger quicker than I'm able to use it up. All right, so what else? I guess just the joint for the hip, which is this weird one that includes, we don't have yet, but that's fine. We'll do these first. That seems upside down. No, that's correct. Okay. Yeah, that is right. I remember how this works. Such a weird hip joint. Oh, thanks. Yeah, the only thing that is bugging me about the layout, and I've been playing with OBS trying to figure out if I can get around this, but like I would like to be able to swap the 2 cameras. So I would like the front facing camera that's up there that's looking at my hands to be able to swap down into the big view from time to time and back and forth. But I've added that weird mask to that top camera to cut off the bottom left corner of it, just to make it look more interesting. And the weird thing with OBS is when you swap cameras, the mask stays with it. So that camera would move down here to this main area and have a large cutout down here on the bottom corner. And there's no way in different scenes to have the same camera used again, but change the mask that's applied to it. So I've scrapped that idea for now. We'll always just have the small camera up there and, you know, the front facing camera up there and the top camera down here. It's funny because I've been calling that one up there the hands cam, but like both of them have my hands. So I don't know why I'm calling it that. I need a different name. So we do need this round part that I looked at earlier and thought we don't need that part. I had never played that much with OBS before, you know, just the last couple weeks. So I'm trying to figure out all the tricks, and my typical way of, you know, learning software, because I'm a software developer myself, is just to play with stuff until I break it, and kind of learn its limits that way. So I've been applying those same principles to OBS for sure. All right, this part that slides out on the hip on this side is super loose. On the other hip, I didn't have that problem, so that's interesting. I think this is just a like older master grade, you know, a symptom of being an older master grade. Like we noticed the loose part here on the front of the ankle. There's just random like loose bits and stuff because the molds are probably not quite as precise. As what we're used to with more modern master grades. Yeah, for me, I had never used OBS. My son plays Minecraft, and back during like when the pandemic started a couple of years ago, and he was doing school from home, he decided that he wanted to start a little YouTube channel where he was posting Minecraft videos, and that didn't last very long. He's not doing it anymore, but to do that, he decided to use OBS on his machine to do his Minecraft, you know, game capture and voiceovers and stuff. And so that was my first exposure to it, was helping him set that up. Yeah, I like it a lot. For a piece of free software, it is super powerful. So I've been enjoying it. This layout, if you look at the stream from Monday, 2 days ago, it was the same layout, but I went in last night and added panel lines. So I scribed panel lines around my layout. That was my fun task yesterday evening, which was always the plan. I just hadn't had time to do it before streaming on Monday. All right, so first thing to check, because I'm thinking about this other ankle joint and how the front armor is super loose. Maybe I assembled it upside down? Is that a thing I did? No, I did not. Okay. So it must just be that this snap-in joint here on that one is loose. We'll check it when we get, like right now, when we get this part and snap it in place. All right, so this, yep, is also quite loose here. I'd like it to stay, like it's gonna, if you push it this far up, it catches on these bits of the round ankle guard, but once you get it on the leg, you're not gonna be able to do that. And so when you just push it up like this high, here, I'll hold it up here for the camera. As soon as I let it go, it's just gonna drop back down. So that joint will certainly need to be tightened up with some clear nail polish or paint or something before the final build. So older Gundam kits aren't bad necessarily, but you know, Bandai's just gotten better at manufacturing and designing them over the years, right? So just like with anything else, the more you do it, the better you get, right? So I think that's the big thing. They've made advancements in the technology of how they create the molds and the type of plastic that they use in the mold as well, so that the tolerances can be better. And then the way they engineer how the joints work and fit together has gotten better over time as well. So that's the majority of the issues. But sometimes it's fun to pick up like an older kit and build it, just to see like what it was like back then, right? I have I think it's a Wing Gundam kit that my brother picked up and gave to me several years ago for Christmas, and I haven't built it. It's like, it's a tiny box. It's only maybe that big. I don't even know, I don't think it's an official scale. And it must have come from like the 1980s or something. It requires glue. So I've never seen a Gunpla kit, at least not a recent one, you know, for sure that requires glue. You know, they're all snap fit now. So this was a very old kit. And I took it out of the box and looked at the runners, and it looked, you know, super basic. But I still have not actually tried to put it together. My goal was to like someday put it together and like glue it all up and then super detail it and mask and paint everything so that it looked, you know, super modern and good, even though it was a terrible kit. But that seems like a lot of work, so I haven't done it yet. All right, so that was the second leg finished. I never did officially announce that, but there we are. And with the waist unit, which is next, then we'll be able to assemble the body of the mobile suit itself. This waist unit comes in two varieties. You know, for the Type F and the Type F2, like we've seen elsewhere on the kit. These look quite a bit different. Well, at least the front skirts are quite a bit different. And I think just looking at the picture in the instructions, I'm going to like the Type F version better. However, we will build them both so that you can see them here, and then I will decide which one I like better to you know, make the final kit. Use that one. So the first Gundam kits I ever built, I spent some time growing up when I was like a older elementary school, junior high school age kid. My family lived in South Korea for a while. And so I used to go to the hobby stores there and pick up model kits, some aircraft model kits and also some Gundam kits. So those were the first ones I ever built, and those were, you know, pretty primitive as well, for sure. Then I took a long break from the hobby, just because I was busy with life and college and having a family and whatever, and then just got back into the hobby just a few years ago, and was immediately hooked again. All right, these are the same, right? Yeah. So there's not a specific one that goes on either side. All right, so this is the style of waist that has these separately rotating, raising and lowering hip joints, right? And I've assembled it with both of them in the upward position, which is, no, they're in the downward position because that's the top. So let's move them up using maybe this. You know what? We'll wait till the legs are in there and it'll be easier to move them up. Yeah, I think the pandemic lockdowns definitely helped the hobby. Probably not just this hobby, but like anything you can do by yourself at home, right? A lot of people got back into things like that, I would think, during that time, because there was nothing else to do. All right, I'm gonna build the Type F2 version of the waist first. And then the Type F version, because like I said, I think the Type F version is the one I'm going to keep. So we'll build that one second so that I can then just keep it that way. So we need those, and we need these. I guess that's it for now. Yeah, so for example, as far as extra parts, I think a lot of this runner, like these are the Astraea head, which obviously we didn't use, the Astraea, and then some G and drive parts, and the back of the shoulder, you know, above the back above the shoulders, some upper arms. So I think that this runner here is going to end up mostly unused by the time we're done with this build. But these front skirt armor bits are used just for this this variation of the waist. Hey, thanks for stopping in. Have a good day. Try not to work too hard. Let's see, these ball joints are actually different from one another, the two sides, so I gotta make sure I use the correct one on the correct side, and it is this, I believe. Yeah, because then this little recessed area is gonna fit better up against there, so yeah. All right. And I'm looking for, like, where can I put these on here? Well, I don't have the front of the crotch part even cut out yet, so let's do that first. It was here on this runner. I should have gotten it while I had this runner out. Pause to look and see, is there anything else I need from here? I think no. Yeah, no. My official answer is no. That's not the right one. Well, maybe we're gonna need that one for the back. Looking ahead, yes, we will. So let's go ahead and get it now. There was a super long pause between music tracks there, and I was about to go check to see why it stopped. One of these days I might actually go through and listen ahead of time to some of this music and try to build some playlists, but currently I just have it set on some sort of ambient chill station. which I find relaxing to just, and not too distracting to be going on in the background while I'm doing this. So I think I'll probably stick with that style of music, at least for now. It gets out of the way, but it's there, so it's not like there's not total silence. All right, so here we go with the front of the waist section for the type F2, which is basically just Exia, right? This is Exia's front skirts. And let's, so the back skirts are the same between the two different types. So I'm gonna build those actually now, and then we'll come back and build the type F front skirts and look at the difference with the whole waist unit all assembled. Yeah, that sounds like a plan. All right, so we need what? U and Y, and yeah, we'll start with that. I said Y, but it's actually the V runners, not the Y runners. There is no Y runner. So I was confused trying to find it. Okay, so we'll go here. And we'll get the matching one. Are we making two of these? Like eventually we are. So this U2 runner is empty. It goes on the floor. I don't know if you can hear the satisfying crash when I throw the runner on the floor. Don't know if my mic picks that up, but it's fun for me. It'll probably get better as the pile of runners down there grows, right? It'll make a better sound. All right, anything else from V? No? Looks like no. These are the inner frame for the other style front skirts, but I'm going to wait and cut those out later on. Yeah. So there's two parts that are they look like the attach points for the beam sabers. And one of them is the part that I accidentally cut out like way back on the first day of streaming this build, whenever that was, sometime last week. And I hope that I can find that part. I've already dropped it on the floor once and relocated it and put it back in the box. So somewhere in the box I have a loose cut part that is quite tiny that I'm going to need in the next step. So the suspense builds as we all wonder whether I'm going to be able to find that part. All right, this slides in here. Interesting, like recessed vent detail there. Looks like it's not snapped all the way in flush though. I don't want to force it. Instead, we will push it back out and adjust the angle. All right, I have to get up and walk over there behind myself to get my favorite tool, which is a toothpick that I do not have on my desk at the moment. Be right back. Yeah. There we go. Toothpick. Now we can adjust this thing. Probably. There. So if I press this in with this edge sort of leading, I think that will help. Because the problem is right now it doesn't want to, this doesn't want to sit flush when you get this pushed all the way in. You know what? It might actually go underneath. Yeah. Maybe if I read the instructions, which actually pointed that out. So you insert this end in first, that way this tucks underneath there, and then we can pivot this into place. Hey, that's gonna work out much better. All right, so read the instructions, like actually pay attention to them. Don't be like me. And then things will work out better for you. There we go. But yes, and always have a toothpick. Now this one will be easy, right? Because I figured out the secret. All right. And now, here is the one little part in question. And its matching friend is somewhere in the box. Because I cut it out early by accident. So, hey, that turned out to be not hard at all. Usually if I cut a piece out early, because I do that from time to time, if I'm not paying attention and I'm just cutting parts off runners, I will leave the nubs on it. I won't trim them and then put it back in the box. That signals to me that it's a part that I haven't needed to use yet, right? Because there are other parts in the box, like this green one here, for example, that'll go back in the box that are cut out because they're part of a variant or something else, and those are trimmed because I know that they're already, like, theoretically they're used somewhere on the kit. I just haven't chosen to use that version of them. So those go in the box already trimmed, but then a part that I've cut out early will go in the box not with its nubs not trimmed, so that I can find it later and remember that there was a reason that I did not trim the nubs off of that part. All right. Taking me a minute to remember that the Y runners are these weird, very bright, transparent green ones. And we need this little rectangular bit right here. And what else? Off of the Y runner, nothing? Nothing. Piece number 4 on this runner, which is right there, is super tiny. We haven't needed that one yet, but that'll be one to be careful about for sure when we get there, because if it shoots away off the table, it's going to be hard to find on the floor. As with the other green sort of accent slash maybe camera parts that we put elsewhere on the kit, these have molded into them these very subtle horizontal lines. Probably can't see them on camera. We couldn't see them on these other parts either on camera. But a little bit of detail in there. All right, so these push in to this recessed area right here. And again, toothpick is going to come in handy to get those slotted just in the right spot. I actually did not trim those nubs super close, and I did that on purpose because I thought it was going to help with the fit. However, it has made the fit a bit tighter than I was expecting. So there we go. Get that one started with my fingernail, and then we will use the toothpick to push it down into place. Try to do so evenly. There we go. All right, so there's that little shiny green reflective part in there. Actually, that's reflecting the light really nice for not having like any kind of sticker, foil sticker, or anything in or behind it. And that big crash was my runners now not being organized anymore. Okay, so we're gonna need both of these eventually, one for each side. And nothing else off the B runner. This is one of those sections of the kit that's a little bit frustrating for somebody like me who likes to pre-cut a bunch of parts off of the runners, because it's only using like 1 or 2 parts off of about a dozen different runners for the waist. Quick drink break. And of course I did that right when the music stopped. That was super smart of me. Good job, me. All right, this is the side we're doing first, looks like. So we will snap this. Oh, I see. This goes down here? Interesting. Okay. Seems fine. So this should point inward in this case. Or maybe this is outward. Who knows? It's a weird tight fit. It has a little bit of pivot this way, which is going to be maybe hampered just a little bit once we put this on. No, actually it's not. That's backwards. That's why it's not fitting. Let's go with this instead. Makes a lot more sense. Yeah. Interesting. Except those are supposed to be sticking out to the sides. So it is true. The instructions were a bit unclear, at least to me, which direction this thing should be facing. But the answer is, it should be facing the opposite direction. So this is this here. Oh, wait, let me put this on and then I'll show you. This is the inner side of this part where it's going to attach into the waist in the back. And then this part is where the beam saber goes, and it's going to be sticking out to the side away from the center of the waist. So since this one goes this way, we want this one to stick out on this side. Okay, let's make the center part that those attach to. Yeah, that seems good. Yeah, so we're gonna use some parts off of some existing or some, reused Astraea back skirt parts. These and also these. I feel like my chair placement is not great today. For whatever reason, I'm like working back too far away from the overhead camera. Sadly, there's one part here, so we can't throw this in the used runner pile yet. Okay, let's see. We need the H runner. Of which there are 2. Oh, that's a different H runner. Forgot about that being a thing because this kit has weapons that are part of the Master Grade Dynamis weapons loadout. It actually has, so this is the H runner for the inner frame from Astraea. But it also has an H1 and H2 runner, which were some of the weapon parts from Dynamis. And so I had accidentally grabbed the wrong H runner because there are actually 3 of them. All right, so we have this, we want this, and probably this one. So we're going to put this in here like so, and then put this together so that sandwiches that way. Have I done it backwards? I think I have, actually. Well, that's annoying. All right, we'll fix it. So after all that talk of having put these in backwards, I was actually right the first time. Fortunately, they're quite easy to pull off and then fix. So now, yeah, that seems better. See, I made the mistake of thinking that this joint or this little attach area here was going to go toward the inside of the kit, toward the inside of the waist. That was just an assumption I made, and it actually, because of the way that this fits into the other part of the back skirt, it's actually the opposite way. So the instructions were correct all along. Like the way I read them the first time was correct. I just second guessed myself when I was looking ahead. So now we can slot this together like so. Hello, good morning. Hope you're having a good day. I'm having a quite good day so far. All I've done was wake up, go for a ride on my bike, and build some Gunpla, so can't have a bad day if you're doing those things. I don't think. All right, so now, assuming I have not left anything out, and I do not believe I have, we can assemble the back half of this waist. Yeah, so this is the waist unit, the Type F version. No, the Type F2 version of the waist unit. The back's going to be the same for both versions, but the front of the F2 version looks like the Astraea. It's got the Astraea's front skirts. And the Type F version, which I'll build in a second here, has some different looking front skirts, and those are probably the ones I'm going to keep in my version of this build. Let's grab the two beam saber handles because they do attach there on the back skirts. So we'll grab those. Which ones are they? Because we have a few choices here. All right. I forgot Astraea had so many beam saber handles. Another telltale sign, I think, of an older master grade kit, like the Astraea that this is based off of, is that the beam saber handles are all molded as a single piece. The more modern ones tend to have a separate piece that fits on the top here and sometimes even on the bottom, so that you don't have the mold lines that you have. I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up, but like down the side of this there's a yeah, it kind of picks it up in the light there. There's a pretty obvious mold line because they had to, you know, sandwich the mold there between the two halves. So there's gonna have to be some sanding there to make that look perfect. All right, so this thing has the beam saber handles sticking straight out to the sides. Interesting choice. I guess that makes them easier to reach back and grab, right? Maybe. This one's quite loose. They're both a little bit loose, so these joints could use to be tightened up a bit as well, where this pivots. Okay, so there's our Type F2 version of the Astraea. I think what we've learned here is that throughout the build is that the Type F2 is definitely more Astraea-like. For example, on the side of the legs, the Type F2 had the normal GN condenser clear green circle there, and the Type F has this other armor bit instead. So, in keeping with sort of my preference so far has been for the Type F, which is the one that looks more different from Astraea, I'm going to swap out these front skirts with the Type F versions of the front skirts. And those are right here. And what else? These are the front armor bits for those. And I need something off the T-runner. Oh right, the T-runner was this other multicolored one. So we need these dark gray accent pieces. Looks like that might be it. These are fairly simple. But I do think they look better than the weird triangular Astraea front skirts. That's one thing that's always kind of bugged me about the Astraea design. I think the waist and the front skirts are a little bit, I don't know, sparse of armor, I guess I'd say. And I realized that that's a design choice that was probably made on purpose because they were trying to sort of express like the high mobility of the legs of the suit. But for me, I like a bulkier, more armored look, I think. Right, and we are going to need one piece that was used here, this back attach piece here that attaches the front skirt onto the waist. So what we're going to do, I guess, is just disassemble this whole front bit here. because we're gonna have to get those parts out. And then, so before I do that, one last look. This is the Type F2 version of the front skirts. All right, we're probably never gonna see that again because I do like the other ones better. However, I did not bring my part separator over here to the build area with me this morning, and I am feeling a need to have it right at the moment. I will continue to struggle on without it for a moment. See if I can make this work. Yeah, we'll use our trusty toothpick here to help out, and we should be fine. I mean, I have a part separator. It's just like way over there, and I don't want to get up and go get it. When you're snap building a kit, you don't think you're going to need a part separator, right? That's for later when you disassemble it. Oh, cool. I got the back part off. That's not what I was trying to do. There we go. All right, the things I do to show off the version of the Astraea that I don't plan to build. Let's grab those two parts that we need. All right, excellent. We'll reassemble the back because it doesn't change. All right, and now the other style front skirts. They are simply we need this one. And these only go, these are actually different, but they sort of keyed the pegs, so you can only fit this on the correct side. So that was nice of them. Right, so there's the Type F front skirts, and these are the Type F2 front skirts, which are basically just the Astraea front skirts. So these are the ones I like better, and I'm going to use. All right, there we go. It's a little bit loose. The ball joint here on this right-hand side front skirt. The left one is not bad. Random loose joints all over this kit. That's okay. We can fix those later on. All right, so legs into the waist. I'll go ahead and shift that swinging hip joint to the top, the upper position, which is much easier to do once the leg is in place here. Yeah, let's bend this up. There we go. Cool. All right, so there we go. This will look better once the holographic bits are in the upper legs there. But it looks pretty good. The floppy front ankle armor is still annoying. And let's put this together. So overall, it seems fairly sturdy. I think it's going to have the same loose ankle problems that I've seen with other Master Grade Exia kits, which makes sense because it's the same inner frame. So yeah, over time, I'm a little afraid that the ankles are gonna get even more loose and it'll become floppy. Here, let me turn it around so that, yeah, see, even just doing that, it wants to lean back at its ankles. So that's not great news. I'm gonna have to move it way back to get the whole thing in that camera. But yeah, he stands, he looks nice. So this is all the Astraea F variant, not the F2, except for the head, which I decided I liked the F2 head better. So it's the Astraea F with the F2 head. Yep, that's what we've got so far. And let's see, the instructions show me now how to remove the G and drive, which we know, you just flip up the little clips and pull it out. And then I think we move on to, yes, the very many weapons. Let me show you. Look at this guy out of the way for a second. And the ankles are not wanting to stay. Okay. So here are the weapons, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I guess we'll count those separately. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Well, those are just beam saber handles. 13, 14, maybe 15 total pieces to build. Most of them are going to be quite simple, looks like. But yeah, cool loadout on this guy for sure. I mean, somewhere back behind me, I have a box of spoons, right? Because I use them for testing paint colors. So we could just stop here and let him hold a spoon and that'd be good, right? He could like dual wield it, 2 hands, like this. Yeah. That'd be great. All right, we're starting with what it calls the GN beam rifle. And it is this slightly smaller rifle, I think. Yes, not the really huge one. Now see, you can tell, or you can't maybe tell, but I can tell right away, just handling this runner, that, you know, this is a more modern, you know, runner that Bandai would design. Like, it, plastic feels better, there's tons more detail, and it's more crisp on the mold. So yeah, this is what we'd like to see with, like, you know, the original Exia design someday. Please, Bandai. Oh yeah, I've built plenty of post 2019 kits. That's why I get sad when I build one of the older ones. All right, let's grab the green camera bit. It's probably on one of these green runners. Yeah, this one here. And I missed a part off of this runner that we're gonna need. I think it's this one down here. Yeah. Oh, and you know what? The barrel is here too. Let's grab that. All right, I think that is all we need here. That's the opposite side from what we need. Here we go. Yeah, so this darker gray, can we see? Yeah, the camera can see that that's two different shades of gray. Darker gray bit sandwich is in the middle. Just for a very few, the handle and a very few details looks like, but that's cool. And then this camera bit, which does not have a top or bottom, true, goes in this way. And I should really trim the nubs off this part before we use it. So it looks like, as is the tradition with 00 designs, this is going to have that sort of ball jointed part that then attaches into the forearm. And there is a holographic part that goes in that cutout between my fingers there, which again I'm leaving out for now. All right, so the ball joint goes here. We can sandwich this together. Other way. Nice tight fit. Yeah, so that darker gray inner part is like, there's little rectangular details that stick out in various places around on the weapon, and then just the handle. So all the rest, there was actually some barrel detail on the inside behind here, but none of that shows through. And there's the barrel. So here's that beam rifle. It's pretty simple, but it's got some good detail that you could pick out with paint if you wanted to. I just realized my instructions are blocking part of that camera view. That is a fair point, right? The instructions say hologram part, but you're right. There's a hologram would have an image in there. Maybe it's a translation issue. Like, I wonder what the original Japanese word in the instructions says and whether that means something more specific to the correct term. All right, next is the Proto-GN launcher, and there is time to build this because it's not a lot of parts. It also looks like the biggest, chunkiest, best weapon that this mobile suit is going to have, I think. So let's build this before we finish today. Wait, there's more. These two? Yeah. Actually, the bazooka, which is the next weapon on the instructions as I'm looking ahead, also looks pretty interesting as well. But we will save that one for next time. I'm slightly saddened because I noticed that this weapon has at least one polycap in it. Yeah, looks like maybe two polycaps. This background music track is freaking me out because it has a clicking sound, very faint every once in a while, that sounds exactly the same as the sound my nippers make when I hear them through my headphones. And yeah, that's kind of strange. There was an undergate on that part. There probably is on the matching part as well, yeah. Two of them over here. Alright, I've decided that these weapons are going to be fun to paint. Like, I'm not being sarcastic, they're actually going to be quite fun to paint. Because even though they're molded in just one or two colors, I can see a lot of potential in stuff I could do with these. So that'll be cool. Alright, I need to grab, what else? Any other parts? Yes. A little camera part. This one's a little bit bigger than the other one. Alright, that might be everything we need. Except for those two polycaps that I mentioned. So let's grab those. Alright, there we go. So they're doing the same technique that they used on this other weapon where there's these darker gray parts that are just sandwiched in between just to give a few little details that pop out in various spots around where the other two pieces sandwich around the outside of them. Which I guess is a good way to hide an obvious continuous seam line that you'd have instead if you didn't do that. So that's good. So here's where another one of those, we'll continue to call them holographic parts because that's what the instructions say. It fits into this little opening here, and it becomes kind of a ribbon that runs from there to the main body of the weapon. All right, so similar to the other one, this camera unit just slots in here. There is a foil sticker that you can put on the back side of this so that it will shine a little bit nicer. So before I close this up, I'll show you this as well. This piece here has kind of goes internal to these. You'll be able to see it through these vertical slots here. So it's got some cool detail on it that you could pick out with some like metallic or maybe silver type paint if you wanted, and it will show through these slots, and it would certainly show through a lot better if it was some sort of bright or metallic or shiny color. So that's a nice touch. All right, so here's where this piece goes in. Oh, that's interesting. So these polycops are actually going to be part of a sliding mechanism as well as a pivot. All right, let's sandwich this thing together. So to me, this is stylistically, this weapon is very similar. It's smaller for sure, but it's similar in style and design to the Gundam Virtue's giant beam weapon. The front part here, which separates apart just a little bit. Like that, kind of slides forward and separates apart. And then this part back here slides forward and back. And we'll see where we can attach that, I guess, at some point when we put these on the actual mobile suit itself. So yeah, that's where we're gonna stop today with these. Yeah, mentioning Gundam Virtue actually reminded me. Let me switch over here. There was our friend Hugo posted his Virtue painted build on Gunpla Gallery the other day. This thing is, I can't make a bigger image than that. Yeah, super nice. But where's that weapon? Right? So that's pretty similar in sort of the design, the chunkiness of it, the way the angles work to what's here. Yeah, he always does really nice, good, clean paint work. And like, here's the whole crew, right? My Virtue's built but not painted yet, because I've been waiting for the display. I've got one of those transparent plastic display things that can show it with the armor purging. Yeah, so I've been waiting for that, but anyway, nice work by Anubis Pla with his Virtue build. Very cool. All right. Yeah, we'll come back, I think tomorrow. I'll stream in the morning tomorrow and finish up the rest of all these weapons, which, yeah, are a crazy mix of Axia weapons and Dynamis weapons, and looks like Kyrios weapons as well. Yeah, this guy's just got all the weapons. So that should be fun. Yeah, you should check out the Master Grade Virtue is such a good build. Yeah, it was super fun to build. I enjoyed it a lot. Cool. Yeah, so I'll be back tomorrow. I'll be either super happy or super depressed, depending on how Orlando City, my soccer team, does in their quarterfinal game in the US Open Cup tonight. Which I'm still looking forward to, but also worried about because I'm afraid they might lose it. So we'll see how that goes. That'll be my evening later tonight, and then I will hopefully be excited tomorrow that they did well when we stream. And that's it for me today. You guys have a good day, and I am off to the rest of my day, which will probably be less fun than this until that soccer game later. So have a good one. I will see you next time.